Listen carefully, because this moment is not random. Before your thoughts race ahead, before fear tightens your chest, before the familiar worry begins to calculate bills, deadlines, and responsibilities, hear my voice clearly. I am speaking to you now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. You are not here by accident. I interrupted your cycle of worry because it was beginning to shape your identity, and I will not allow fear to define what I have already secured. You have been carrying a silent tension inside you. On the outside, you try to stay faithful, hopeful, composed. On the inside, there has been a quiet argument. Faith speaking one thing, fear speaking another. You believe I am your provider, yet your mind keeps scanning for lack. You trust me, yet you feel pressure every time you look at your circumstances. That divided place has been exhausting you. I did not design you to live divided. Hear me clearly. I am not withholding from you. I am not ignoring your needs. I am not testing you with endless lack. What I have assigned you to do requires provision, and I do not assign purpose without supply. The resources for your life are not coming someday. They are already authorized. The delay you feel is not because heaven is slow. It is because worry has been speaking louder than trust. My child, worry has been draining you more than lack ever could. It pulls your thoughts in opposite directions. It fractures your peace. It keeps your body tense and your spirit alert for danger instead of open to instruction. When you live in constant survival mode, you cannot hear the quiet strategies I am placing in your heart. Provision flows best through clarity, not panic. You keep asking why things have not shifted yet. You pray, you work, you try to stay positive, yet your accounts still feel dry and your future feels uncertain. But let me tell you something you have not fully accepted yet. Your struggle season is not proof of humility. It has become a habit of thinking. You learned how to survive, and now you are being asked to learn how to steward. I am not calling you to beg. I am calling you to stand. You are not an outsider hoping for scraps. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are a priority assignment, and what I fund, I sustain. The reason fear keeps returning is because part of you still sees yourself as a struggler instead of a steward. That identity must shift. You do not need to convince me to provide. You need to allow yourself to receive instruction without panic interrupting every thought. When fear rises, your body reacts before your faith speaks. That reaction has been blocking peace, creativity, and insight. I am not disappointed in you for this. I am correcting you because I love you. Here is something practical. I want you to begin applying immediately. The next time anxiety about money rises, when you see a number that scares you, when a bill arrives, when uncertainty tightens your chest, pause before reacting. Do not spiral. Do not calculate worst-case scenarios. Instead, acknowledge the fear and remind it that it is not in charge. You do not silence fear by arguing with it. You silence it by refusing to obey it. Provision rarely arrives as sudden miracles falling from the sky. It arrives as ideas, timing, connections, wisdom, and clarity. Panic blocks your ability to notice these things. Peace sharpens it. That is why I keep calling you back to trust. Not because I need your faith, but because you need your peace. You have mistaken worry for responsibility. You thought if you worried enough, you were being careful. But worry does not protect. It consumes. Responsibility listens, plans, and moves forward calmly. Worry spins in place. I am teaching you to respond, not react. Let go of the belief that being anxious makes you diligent or holy. I never asked you to suffer to prove devotion. I asked you to trust. Wealth does not corrupt obedience. Fear does. Lack does not make you closer to me. Dependence does. And dependence does not require panic. It requires alignment. I want you to begin seeing your life differently. You are not trying to survive another month. You are managing a life I am actively sustaining. When unexpected expenses appear, do not collapse inward. When uncertainty shows up, do not assume abandonment. Assume guidance. Assume instruction. Assume provision in motion. This message is the beginning of a shift. Stay with it. Do not click away. Each part will build on the last, helping you retrain how you think, respond, and move through life. Watch until the end, because what I am doing is not just calming you, it is repositioning you. If something in your spirit agrees with what you are hearing, respond now. Type, "Yes, I trust you," in the comments as a declaration that worry will no longer lead your decisions. And if these words bring you peace, clarity, or hope, like this message, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs reassurance today. If you feel happy and strengthened by what you are hearing, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so more lives can receive guidance and encouragement. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being funded, guided, and sustained, starting now. Stay with me. The next part will go deeper. Stay here. Do not drift away. Because what I am speaking now is meant to correct something, gently, but firmly. You have believed that worry was helping you stay prepared. You thought if you stayed alert, if you kept running numbers in your mind, if you anticipated every possible problem, then you would somehow prevent failure. But hear me clearly now, your worry has not been protecting you, it has been exhausting you. I see the way your mind keeps replaying scenarios late at night. You lie down to rest, yet your thoughts keep pacing. You calculate, recalculate, imagine outcomes that have not happened, and prepare for disasters that may never come. You call this responsibility, but it is fear wearing the mask of wisdom. I am not condemning you for it. I am exposing it so you can be free from it. You were never designed to carry tomorrow in your mind while living today in your body. When you do this, your strength leaks slowly, your joy fades quietly, your ability to hear guidance becomes dull. Worry fragments your attention and drains your capacity to notice the solutions I am already placing around you. You cannot receive clear instruction when your thoughts are racing for survival. My child, I want you to understand this deeply. Survival mode blocks stewardship mode. When your nervous system is constantly bracing for danger, you cannot think creatively, wisely, or strategically. You only react. And reaction is not how provision flows. Provision flows through clarity, calm focus, and trust-driven action. You keep asking me to fix your situation, but many times I am trying to calm your mind first. Not because the problem is small, but because panic distorts perception. When you are anxious, you overlook open doors. You forget past rescues. You underestimate your own capacity. You assume the worst before seeking truth. Look back honestly at your life. There were moments when you thought everything was about to collapse, yet somehow you are still here. You did not plan every rescue. You did not predict every solution, yet provision arrived, sometimes late, sometimes quietly, sometimes in unexpected forms. That was not coincidence. That was evidence. But worry has a way of erasing memory. It makes you forget how many times you were sustained. It convinces you that this time will be different, that this time you will be abandoned. That voice is not wisdom. It is fear, recycling old lies. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you to stop letting fear interpret reality for you. There is a difference. Responsible action listens for instruction. Worry assumes disaster. Responsible action moves step by step. Worry rushes ahead and collapses under imagined weight. Here is something practical I want you to apply starting today. When a thought about lack enters your mind, do not entertain it immediately. Pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself one simple question. What is required of me right now? Not tomorrow, not next month. Right now. Most of the time, the answer will be small, manageable, and clear. Worry inflates problems. Wisdom breaks them into steps. You have also been judging yourself harshly for feeling anxious. You tell yourself that if your faith were stronger, you would not struggle like this. That self-judgment only deepens the cycle. Faith is not the absence of anxious thoughts. Faith is the decision not to be led by them. Growth does not happen by shaming yourself. It happens by practicing new responses. I am not disappointed in you for feeling afraid. I am inviting you to learn a new way of responding. When fear speaks, you do not need to argue with it endlessly. You simply need to stop obeying it. You can acknowledge the feeling without surrendering your direction. You are stepping into a season where I want you thinking like a steward, not a survivor. A survivor reacts to every threat. A steward evaluates, listens, and acts with intention. Survivors hoard energy. Stewards allocate it wisely. Survivors assume scarcity. Stewards expect supply. This shift may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel exposed without worry running in the background. You may feel irresponsible for resting your mind. But peace is not negligence. Calm is not denial. It is alignment. I want you to start treating your peace as something valuable, not optional. Protect it. When conversations pull you into panic, step back. When information overload fuels fear, limit it. When your thoughts begin spiraling, redirect them intentionally. These are not small acts. They are foundational. You are learning that I fund clarity before I fund expansion. I stabilize your thinking before I increase your responsibility. If I handed you more while you were still operating from panic, it would overwhelm you. So I am reshaping how you think, not punishing you with delay. Stay with this message. Do not rush away. Watch until the end, because what is coming will help you build a life that is not ruled by anxiety. If this message is speaking to you, respond now. Type, I release worry, in the comments as a declaration that fear will no longer dominate your thoughts. Stay with me. Do not let your attention wander, because what I am about to speak is meant to shift how you approach your life every single day. You have been praying faithfully, but many of your prayers have been shaped by urgency instead of trust. You come to me carrying fear first and faith second. You speak words of belief, yet your thoughts are already racing ahead, trying to solve everything on your own. This divided posture has been draining you. I want you to understand something clearly. Panic is not humility, and urgency is not obedience. When you pray from panic, you are not aligning yourself with my peace. You are asking me to fix the anxiety you have already accepted as normal. I'm inviting you into a different posture, one where trust leads and action follows calmly. You have learned how to react quickly. Life trained you to do that. When resources felt limited, you learned to anticipate danger. When stability felt fragile, you learned to stay alert. Those habits once helped you survive, but now they are limiting your ability to receive instruction. What once protected you is now exhausting you. Trust does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means releasing the need to control outcomes before you receive direction. You often rush ahead of clarity because silence makes you uncomfortable. But silence is not emptiness. It is space where understanding forms. When you slow your inner world, you create room to notice the guidance that has been there all along. You have been asking me to bless your efforts, but I am teaching you how to listen before you act. Blessing follows alignment. Alignment begins with stillness. When your mind is loud, you miss the subtle adjustments that lead to better outcomes. You do not need louder prayers. You need quieter thoughts. Consider how often you move from one concern to the next without pausing. You solve one problem and immediately search for the next threat. This keeps your body tense and your spirit restless. I did not design you to live like this. Rest is not a luxury for later. It is a requirement for clarity now. Here is a practical way to apply this truth. Before you pray about provision, calm your body. Take a breath. Slow your thoughts. Do not bring fear into the conversation and ask me to remove it. Bring stillness first, then speak. When your body is calm, your mind becomes receptive. When your mind is receptive, instruction becomes clear. You keep asking for open doors, but you must also be willing to walk through them without rushing. Many opportunities require patience to mature. When you rush, you force outcomes prematurely. When you wait attentively, you recognize timing. Timing matters as much as effort. You are learning that trust is not passive. Trust listens carefully. then acts deliberately. Panic reacts without clarity. Trust responds with intention. This distinction will change how you approach decisions, finances, relationships, and responsibilities. I want you to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your mind. These rehearsals train your nervous system to expect loss even before it arrives. Expectation shapes perception. When you expect lack, you overlook provision. When you expect guidance, you recognize it. This does not mean challenges will disappear. It means you will face them differently. Calm thinking leads to better choices. Better choices lead to better outcomes. Over time, this creates stability where chaos once lived. You have also been measuring your faith by how intense your prayers feel. Intensity is not accuracy. Consistency matters more. Quiet trust repeated daily reshapes your inner world. Over time, this becomes your default posture. I am inviting you to build a new habit. When concern arises, pause before responding. Ask yourself what is actually required in this moment. Most problems do not need immediate solutions. They need measured steps. When you stop rushing, you start seeing options. Do not be afraid of slowing down. Slowing down does not mean falling behind. It means aligning your pace with wisdom. You are not racing against time. You are learning how to move with purpose. If you allow this shift, you will notice changes. Your sleep will deepen. Your reactions will soften. Your decisions will become clearer. This is not accidental. It is the result of thinking differently. Remain with this message. Watch until the end of this series. Each part builds upon the last, guiding you toward a life that is not ruled by fear, but shaped by trust. If your heart agrees with what you are hearing, respond now. Type, "I choose trust," in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing panic-driven thinking and learning a calmer way forward. Stay with me. Do not rush past this moment, because what I am speaking now corrects a misunderstanding that has quietly shaped your expectations. You have been telling yourself that you are waiting on me, that I am delaying, testing, or holding something back. But hear this clearly and let it settle into your spirit. You are not waiting on me, I am aligning you. Waiting does not always mean inactivity. Often, it means recalibration. While you felt delayed, I was adjusting how you think, how you respond, and how you see yourself. If I released greater provision before this alignment, it would have magnified stress instead of peace. Expansion without stability creates collapse. I do not build that way. You have assumed that delay meant denial or disapproval. That assumption fed discouragement. But delay is often protection. There were outcomes you desired that would have overwhelmed you at the time. There were opportunities that looked attractive but would have pulled you away from purpose. You were spared more than you realize. My child, alignment begins internally before it manifests externally. You cannot steward increase while still operating from fear. You cannot manage provision while identifying as a struggler. You cannot lead well while doubting your worth. These things had to shift first, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You have been learning how to respond differently. In the past, unexpected problems sent you into panic. Now, you pause, you breathe, you think. That is alignment. You used to assume the worst immediately. Now, you wait for clarity. That is alignment. You used to measure your value by your circumstances. Now, you are beginning to separate identity from outcome. That is alignment. Alignment is subtle. It does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels frustrating because it slows you down. But it also stabilizes you. It teaches you how to carry responsibility without losing peace. That is essential for what lies ahead. You have also been learning patience with timing. Not every answer arrives instantly. Not every solution appears fully formed. Often, direction unfolds step by step. You receive one piece at a time, so you learn attentiveness instead of control. Control exhausts you. Attentiveness strengthens you. I want you to stop interpreting silence as absence. Silence is often instruction forming. When you sit with uncertainty without rushing to fill it, your discernment sharpens. You begin to recognize which thoughts are fear-driven and which are wisdom-led. This discernment will serve you well. Here is something practical to apply now. When you feel delayed, ask yourself this: what is being strengthened in me right now? Instead of asking why things are not moving faster, ask what capacity is being built. Capacity always precedes expansion. Strength always precedes responsibility. You are not being overlooked. You are being refined. Refinement feels slow because it is internal. But once it completes, movement accelerates naturally. You will not need to force doors open. You will recognize the right ones because peace will accompany them. You have also been learning to release comparison. Watching others advance while you feel paused can stir resentment or doubt. But comparison distorts perspective. You do not see the full weight of their responsibility or the cost of their path. Focus on your alignment, not their timeline. I am preparing you for sustainability, not temporary success. Short-lived breakthroughs often collapse because the foundation was rushed. I am building something steady in you: clarity, confidence, discipline, and peace. These qualities ensure that when provision increases, you remain grounded. You may feel restless during alignment seasons. Restlessness often comes from wanting visible movement before internal readiness. But trust this process. When alignment completes, movement will feel natural rather than forced. You will not need to convince yourself to act. You will simply know when to move. You are closer than you think. The fact that your thinking is changing is evidence. The fact that you are calmer than before is evidence. The fact that you are still listening instead of quitting is evidence. These are signs that alignment is working. Do not abandon the process because it feels slow. Speed without stability leads to regret. Pace with wisdom leads to fulfillment. You are learning how to walk, not just how to arrive. If your spirit agrees with what you are hearing, respond now. Type "I trust your timing" in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing frustration and embracing alignment. Stay with me and listen slowly, because what I am speaking now is not about effort, but about posture. You have learned how to work hard. You have learned how to endure pressure. You have learned how to survive when things were uncertain. But there is something you are still learning, and it is this: how to receive without fear. You have been so accustomed to bracing yourself for loss that even when good begins to appear, part of you tightens. You wait for the other shoe to drop. You hesitate to relax. You tell yourself not to get too hopeful. That response did not come from nowhere. It came from seasons where you were disappointed, from times when stability felt temporary, from moments when things changed suddenly. Your mind adapted to protect you, but what once protected you is now limiting you. I am not only providing for your needs, I am reshaping how you experience provision. If you receive with fear, you will never feel full, no matter how much arrives. Fear keeps you guarded. Fear keeps you calculating. Fear keeps you believing that what you have can be taken at any moment. That is not how I want you to live. You have mistaken tension for responsibility. You thought staying alert meant staying faithful. But faith does not require constant tension. Faith requires trust. Trust allows your body to rest and your mind to open. When you relax your grip, you do not lose control. You gain clarity. You are learning that receiving is an act of humility. It requires you to stop proving, stop striving, and stop assuming you must earn everything through exhaustion. There are things I give simply because you are aligned, not because you have suffered enough. Release the belief that rest disqualifies you. Rest prepares you. Here is something practical I want you to practice. When something good enters your life, an opportunity, provision, relief, notice your first reaction. Do you tense up? Do you question how long it will last? Do you immediately worry about maintaining it? When you notice that reaction, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself that I am steady even when circumstances change. Receiving calmly trains your nervous system to expect consistency rather than loss. You are also learning to separate gratitude from anxiety. Gratitude acknowledges what is present. Anxiety worries about what might be taken. Gratitude anchors you in now. Anxiety pulls you into imagined futures. Choose gratitude repeatedly. It steadies you. I know you have seen provision arrive before and then disappear. That memory still influences how you respond today. But do not let past instability convince you that stability is impossible. Each season is not a repeat of the last. You are not who you were before. You are learning discernment, pacing, and stewardship. These skills support sustainability. You have also been learning to receive guidance, not just resources. Often, what you need most is not money itself, but wisdom about timing, direction, and allocation. When you are calm, you hear these instructions clearly. When you are panicked, you miss them. That is why peace matters. Do not rush to spend energy proving that you deserve what you receive. You do not need to justify provision with overwork. Stewardship is not depletion. It is thoughtful management. When you operate from fear, you exhaust what you receive quickly. When you operate from trust, you multiply it. Let go of the belief that calm means complacency. Calm allows discernment. Calm allows foresight. Calm allows you to recognize when to act and when to wait. Urgency clouds judgment. Peace sharpens it. You are also learning that not every increase requires immediate explanation. You do not need to announce, defend, or rationalize every blessing. Quiet gratitude preserves peace. Overexposure invites unnecessary pressure. Apply this truth in your daily life. When provision comes, respond with steadiness. Do not rush to secure the future in one move. Do not hoard out of fear. Do not spend out of anxiety. Move thoughtfully. Let wisdom guide pace. You are becoming someone who can hold responsibility without panic. That transformation matters more than the amount you receive. When you can hold peace under pressure, you are ready for greater stewardship. If this message resonates with you, engage with intention. Type, "I receive" with trust in the comments as a declaration that fear will no longer define how you receive what is provided. And if these words have brought you clarity or peace, like this message, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs reassurance today. If you feel encouraged and supported by what you are hearing, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so more lives can be strengthened and guided. You are not learning how to survive anymore, my child. You are learning how to receive, steward, and live with peace. Stay open. What comes next will help you walk forward with confidence and balance. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the part of you that still feels overstimulated even when things are quiet. You have noticed that even in moments where nothing urgent is happening, your thoughts keep moving, your mind keeps scanning, your body stays alert. That constant internal motion has become familiar to you, but it was never meant to be permanent. I am not only providing direction for your life, I am calming your mind so you can recognize it. You have lived for a long time in a state of readiness, ready for the next demand, ready for the next problem, ready for the next bill, call, or unexpected responsibility. This readiness helped you endure difficult seasons, but now it is interfering with discernment. When everything feels urgent, nothing feels clear. When your mind is loud, instruction feels distant. I am not asking you to stop thinking. I am teaching you how to think without fear, driving the process. There is a difference between awareness and anxiety. Awareness observes calmly. Anxiety reacts prematurely. Awareness listens. Anxiety interrupts. You have been reacting faster than you have been listening, and I am gently correcting that. You may have noticed that when you slow down, discomfort rises. Silence makes you restless. Stillness feels unfamiliar. That is because your nervous system learned to associate calm with vulnerability. In the past, calm moments were interrupted by sudden stress. So your body learned to stay alert even when nothing is wrong. This was not a moral failure. It was adaptation. But adaptation can be retrained. I am retraining you now. When your mind settles, your intuition sharpens. When your breathing slows, your perception widens. When your body relaxes, your ability to hear guidance increases. This is not mystical language. This is alignment. Calm creates space. Space allows clarity. Clarity reveals direction. You keep asking me for signs, but many times I am giving you understanding instead. Signs grab attention quickly, but understanding sustains you. Understanding helps you navigate situations without constant reassurance. It allows you to make decisions confidently rather than reactively. Here is something practical to apply, starting today. Before making decisions, especially financial or relational ones, pause your body before engaging your thoughts. Take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, release your jaw. Let your body signal safety before your mind begins evaluating. This small practice shifts how you process information. It prevents fear from leading your conclusions. You are learning that guidance does not always come as loud instruction. Often it comes as a quiet sense of rightness, a steady peace, a gentle nudge. These are easy to miss when your internal world is noisy. Calm makes them recognizable. You have also been equating stillness with inactivity. That belief has kept you restless. But stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is preparation. It is how you gather clarity before movement. It is how you align intention before action. Without stillness, movement becomes scattered. I want you to stop judging yourself for needing rest. Rest does not mean you lack discipline. It means you understand sustainability. You are not designed to operate at maximum output indefinitely. Cycles of rest preserve effectiveness. They do not weaken it. You may fear that if you slow down, things will fall apart. But consider this. How many times have you pushed yourself past peace only to make decisions that cost you more in the long run? Calm decision-making saves energy, time, and regret. Slowing down now prevents breakdown later. You are also learning to separate urgency from importance. Not everything that demands attention deserves priority. Some things are loud but unimportant. Others are quiet but essential. Calm helps you distinguish between the two. Apply this in your daily life by asking yourself one question when pressure rises. Is this truly urgent, or does it just feel urgent? That pause alone will change how you respond. Many pressures dissolve when examined calmly. I am guiding you into a steadier way of living, one where your thoughts serve you instead of overwhelm you, one where your body feels safe enough to relax, one where decisions are made from clarity rather than fear. Do not rush this process. Your mind has been trained over years. It will not change overnight. But each time you choose calm over panic, you are reinforcing a new pattern. Over time, this becomes your default state. If this message resonates with where you are right now, respond intentionally. Type, "I accept calm and clarity" in the comments as a declaration that you are allowing your mind to be retrained for peace and guidance. Stay with me because this part is meant to reframe how you see yourself and how you move through responsibility. For a long time, you have been operating in survival mode. You learned how to get through the day, how to stretch what you had, how to stay alert so nothing caught you off guard. Survival taught you endurance, but it also trained your instincts to expect lack. I am not removing the lessons you learned. I am elevating how you apply them. I am shifting you from survival to stewardship. Survival asks, how do I make it through this? Stewardship asks, how do I manage what has been entrusted to me? Survival reacts to pressure. Stewardship responds with intention. Survival hoards energy. Stewardship allocates it wisely. You are crossing from one mindset to the other, and transitions can feel unsettling because familiar habits no longer fit. You may notice moments where you catch yourself bracing for impact even when nothing is wrong. That reflex came from seasons where unpredictability was real. But I am teaching you to loosen that reflex. You do not need to stay tense to stay responsible. Tension narrows vision. Stewardship requires perspective. My child, stewardship begins with identity. You cannot manage provision well if you still see yourself as someone who barely gets by. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. I am inviting you to see yourself as someone capable of managing, planning, and multiplying, not merely enduring. You have been faithful with little, often without recognition. That faithfulness built capacity. Capacity attracts responsibility. Responsibility attracts provision. This is not a reward system. It is alignment. When your inner posture matches your assignment, resources move more freely through your life. You're also learning that stewardship includes boundaries. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. Not every request requires your immediate response. Saying no thoughtfully protects your ability to say yes meaningfully. When you scatter yourself, you dilute impact. When you focus, you multiply effect. Apply this practically before committing to something new. Ask whether it aligns with your values and current capacity. Do not overextend out of fear of missing out. Overextension leads to burnout, not growth. Sustainable stewardship respects limits while expanding wisely. You may feel uncomfortable letting go of the survivor identity because it feels familiar and safe. Survival kept you alert. It gave you a sense of control, but it also kept you anxious. Stewardship asks you to trust that provision can flow without constant vigilance. That trust will grow as you practice it. You are learning that abundance is not excess. It is sufficiency with margin. Margin allows generosity, creativity, and rest. Without margin, even increase feels stressful. I am not just increasing what you have. I am teaching you how to create margin through wise decisions. There will be moments when old habits resurface. You may catch yourself panicking over small things, assuming scarcity, or rushing decisions. When that happens, do not judge yourself. Pause. Breathe. Choose differently. Each pause rewires your response. Each choice reinforces the new posture. You are also learning that stewardship includes foresight. Planning is not fear when it is guided by clarity. Budgeting, organizing, and preparing are acts of wisdom when they are calm and intentional. Fear-based planning hoards. Wisdom-based planning prepares. Let go of the belief that stewardship makes you rigid. True stewardship is flexible. It adapts. It adjusts. It listens. It is not driven by ego or control. It is guided by purpose. When you steward well, you feel lighter, not heavier. I am preparing you to handle more without losing peace. That preparation happens now, in small daily choices. How you respond to minor pressures trains you for greater responsibility. Practice calm decision-making. Practice measured responses. Practice gratitude without anxiety. If this message aligns with your spirit, engage. Now, type "I step into stewardship" in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing survival thinking and embracing responsible, peaceful management. Stay with me, because this part is meant to lift your eyes beyond the pressure of the moment. You have lived for so long responding to what is urgent that you learned to shrink your vision to the size of the emergency in front of you. When something demanded attention, it became everything. When a problem appeared, it filled your thoughts. That way of thinking helped you survive difficult seasons, but it will not carry you into stability. I am teaching you to think longer than the emergency. Emergencies compress time. They make everything feel immediate and final. They tell you that if you do not act now, everything will fall apart. But not every situation is an emergency, even if it feels intense. When you treat every pressure as urgent, you exhaust your discernment. You rush decisions. You overcorrect. You solve short-term problems at the expense of long-term peace. I am expanding your perspective. You are learning to pause before reacting, to assess before committing, to consider outcomes beyond the next few days. This does not mean you become passive. It means you become intentional. Intentional thinking creates stability. Reactive thinking creates cycles. You have noticed that when you slow down your response, you see options you missed before. You realize that not everything needs immediate resolution. Some things need patience, some need information, some need rest before action. This awareness is not delay, it is wisdom forming. My child, I am not calling you to ignore responsibility. I am calling you to stop letting pressure dictate your priorities. Pressure is loud, but it is not always right. Wisdom often speaks quietly and steadily. When you learn to listen to wisdom, your decisions gain depth and durability. You have also been learning that emergencies train your nervous system to expect constant crisis. Over time, this makes calm feel unfamiliar and even unsafe. That is why stillness once made you restless. But as you practice pausing, your body begins to relearn safety. Calm stops feeling like vulnerability and starts feeling like clarity. Apply this truth practically. When something demands your attention, ask yourself whether it is truly urgent or simply loud. Give yourself permission to step back and evaluate. Often, the intensity decreases when examined calmly. You do not lose ground by pausing, you gain perspective. You are also learning to plan beyond immediate relief. Survival thinking focuses on getting through the week. Stewardship thinking considers the month, the year, the trajectory. You are being trained to ask better questions. Not just, how do I fix this? But how do I build so this does not repeat? This shift will change how you approach finances, work, relationships, and commitments. You will begin choosing options that reduce future stress rather than temporarily easing present discomfort. This is how stability is built. You may feel resistance to this way of thinking because it feels unfamiliar. Long-term thinking requires patience. It requires trust that today's decision does not have to solve everything at once. That trust grows as you see the results of calmer choices. You are also learning that not every opportunity should be accepted simply because it promises quick relief. Quick solutions often come with hidden costs. Sustainable solutions require discernment and pacing. When you slow down, you notice those costs before committing. Let go of the belief that thinking long-term means sacrificing present needs. It means meeting present needs wisely so they do not multiply into future burdens. This balance takes practice, and you are learning it now. You have been afraid that if you do not act quickly, you will miss out. But missing out on chaos is not loss. It is protection. You are allowed to choose paths that feel steady rather than dramatic. Peace is not boring, it is productive. As you continue practicing this perspective, you will notice that your stress decreases, your sleep improves, your reactions soften, your confidence grows. These are signs that your thinking is aligning with wisdom rather than fear. If this message resonates with where you are right now, respond intentionally. Type, "I think with wisdom," in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing long-term clarity over short-term panic. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the hesitation that has quietly followed you. You have learned to pause, to think, to evaluate, and that wisdom has protected you. But somewhere along the way, caution began to turn into doubt. You started questioning every choice. You replayed decisions long after they were made. You wondered if you were hearing clearly or missing something important. I am not rebuking your carefulness. I am restoring your confidence to decide. There was a time when decisions carried heavy consequences and mistakes felt costly. That taught you to be alert. But it also trained you to fear getting it wrong. Over time, fear made you hesitate even when clarity was present. You began seeking reassurance repeatedly. You delayed action, not because you lacked insight, but because you feared responsibility. That is understandable, but it is not where you are meant to stay. I want you to know this clearly. Clarity does not require certainty to function. Wisdom often arrives as enough understanding for the next step, not the entire journey. When you wait for complete certainty, you postpone progress. Confidence grows through use, not avoidance. Each decision you make thoughtfully strengthens discernment for the next one. You have been confusing humility with self-doubt. Humility listens, learns, and adjusts. Self-doubt questions worth and capability. You are allowed to trust what you have learned. You are allowed to act on the insight you have gained. You are allowed to make decisions without punishing yourself afterward. My child, I am not asking you to be flawless. I am asking you to be faithful. Faithfulness looks like making the best decision you can with the information you have and remaining open to adjustment. Rigidity fears correction. Wisdom welcomes it. When you know you can adapt, decisions feel less threatening. You are learning that indecision also carries a cost. When you delay choices too long, opportunities pass, energy drains, and anxiety grows. Action, even when measured, often brings relief. Movement clarifies direction. Stillness has its place, but prolonged hesitation breeds confusion. Here is something practical to apply now. When faced with a decision, stop asking, "What if I get this wrong?" and begin asking, "What does alignment look like here?" Alignment considers values, capacity, timing, and peace. It does not demand perfection. It seeks integrity. Decisions made from alignment can be adjusted without shame. You have also been learning to separate mistakes from identity. A wrong turn does not define you. A miscalculation does not erase wisdom. Learning requires trial. Growth requires experience. I am not withdrawing support when you make adjustments. I am present throughout the process. You may notice fear resurfacing when responsibility increases. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It presents arguments that sound reasonable but are rooted in avoidance. Discernment listens to logic but checks its source. Ask yourself whether hesitation is protecting your values or protecting your comfort. The answer will guide you. You are allowed to choose peace over perfection. You are allowed to choose progress over paralysis. Each thoughtful decision reinforces trust in yourself. Over time, confidence becomes steady rather than fragile. I am restoring your confidence, not so you rush, but so you move without constant self-doubt. Confidence allows you to respond calmly to outcomes, whether they require celebration or correction. It frees you from excessive self-criticism. Let go of the belief that one wrong decision will undo everything. Your life is not that fragile. You are adaptable, resilient, and supported. Adjustments are part of growth, not evidence of failure. As you practice deciding with intention, you will notice changes. Your mind will feel quieter. Your energy will return. Your direction will feel clearer. These are signs that confidence is being restored. If this message resonates with you, respond intentionally. Type, "I decide," with confidence in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing fear-based hesitation and stepping into calm, thoughtful action. You are not behind, my child. You are learning how to move forward wisely, and that skill will sustain you far longer than fear ever could. Stay with me, because this part is meant to anchor everything you have been learning. You have shifted how you think. You have learned to pause instead of panic. You have begun to trust, decide, and move with greater clarity. Now I am bringing you into a season where consistency, not urgency, will multiply what I have already placed in your hands. Many people ask for sudden breakthroughs, but few are prepared for sustained growth. Sudden change excites the emotions. Consistency transforms the life. I am not building something fragile in you. I am building something that lasts. And what lasts is shaped by repeated, aligned choices made even when nothing dramatic seems to be happening. You have noticed that your motivation rises and falls. Some days you feel confident and focused. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or unsure. This is normal. Growth was never meant to rely on constant motivation. It relies on commitment. Commitment carries you when feelings fluctuate. Commitment keeps you aligned when excitement fades. My child, consistency is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters repeatedly, without exhausting yourself. You do not need to overhaul your entire life at once. You need to keep showing up in small, faithful ways. Small actions, repeated calmly, compound into stability. You have already experienced this. When you began pausing instead of reacting, your peace increased. When you stopped rehearsing fear, your mind felt clearer. When you chose alignment over urgency, your decisions improved. These changes did not happen overnight, but they happened because you practiced them again and again. That is consistency at work. I want you to stop underestimating the power of repetition. What you practice daily becomes your default response. If you practice calm, calm becomes natural. If you practice trust, trust becomes familiar. If you practice wise decisions, wisdom becomes instinctive. You are training yourself for the life you are building. Apply this truth practically. Choose a few habits that support your peace and maintain them gently. Do not overload yourself with expectations. Overcommitment leads to burnout. Sustainable growth is built through manageable rhythms. Simplicity strengthens consistency. You may be tempted to judge progress by visible results alone. But consistency often works quietly. It stabilizes your inner world before changing your outer one. You think differently now. You respond differently now. You recover faster now. These internal shifts are evidence that consistency is shaping you. There will be days when consistency feels boring. The excitement fades. The routine remains. This is where many abandon progress prematurely. Do not confuse boredom with lack of value. Repetition strengthens foundations. Foundations support expansion. You are not meant to live in constant intensity. Intensity burns quickly. Consistency endures. What you build slowly will support you longer. I am teaching you to value steadiness over spectacle. You are also learning patience with yourself. Missing a step does not erase progress. Returning to alignment without harsh judgment keeps consistency intact. Perfectionism interrupts growth. Grace sustains it. Consistency also protects your energy. When your life is structured around clear priorities, distractions lose power. You spend less time reacting and more time directing your energy intentionally. This creates margin space for creativity, rest, and generosity. You are learning that peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the result of aligned responsibility. When your actions match your values, your mind rests. When your pace matches your capacity, your body relaxes. This harmony supports longevity. Do not rush this season. You are building a life, not chasing a moment. The habits you form now will support greater responsibility later. What feels small today is preparing you for what feels significant tomorrow. If your spirit agrees with what you are hearing, respond now. Type I comment to consistency in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing steady growth over short-lived motivation. And if these words have strengthened you, like this message, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs calm direction right now. If you feel encouraged and supported by what you are hearing, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so more lives can be guided into peace, clarity. You are not racing toward a finish line, my child. You are building a foundation, and what you build with consistency, I will continue to multiply. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the impatience that rises when you have done what you know to do, and you are still waiting to see the outcome. You have learned consistency. You have practiced calm. You have begun making aligned decisions. And yet, there are moments when you wonder why the visible results have not fully caught up with the internal changes. This is where many grow discouraged, not because they lack faith, but because they misunderstand how growth unfolds. I want you to hear this clearly. Results are the echo of alignment, not its proof. The process matters more than the moment you arrive. If you rush the outcome, you miss the formation that sustains it. I am not delaying you to frustrate you. I am training you to remain steady when results fluctuate. You have been conditioned to believe that progress must always look obvious. When improvement is visible, you feel confident. When it is quiet, you feel uncertain. But some of the most important changes happen beneath the surface. Roots grow before branches stretch. Strength forms before weight increases. Understanding deepens before responsibility expands. You are learning to live with intention rather than anticipation. Anticipation waits for a future moment to feel secure. Intention chooses alignment now, regardless of timing. Intention builds resilience. Anticipation often breeds anxiety. Shift your focus from watching the clock to practicing the process. There were seasons when you relied on urgency to motivate you. Pressure kept you moving. Deadlines pushed you forward. But urgency cannot sustain peace. It exhausts clarity. I am replacing urgency with purpose, so your movement becomes sustainable rather than frantic. Here is something practical to apply today. When impatience arises, do not ask, "Why hasn't this happened yet?" Ask instead, "What is this season producing in me?" Are you becoming calmer, more discerning, less reactive, more confident? These are not small gains. They are the infrastructure of stability. You have also been learning that trust is not passive waiting. Trust is active participation without anxiety. It shows up daily, even when results are incomplete. It chooses alignment repeatedly. This kind of trust builds endurance. It prepares you to handle success without losing peace. You may feel tempted to compare timelines, yours against others, your present against your expectations. Comparison distorts patience. You do not see the full cost of someone else's path, nor the preparation behind their progress. Focus on your formation. What is being built in you will support what flows through you later. I am also teaching you to measure progress differently. Instead of asking whether everything has changed, notice whether you have changed. Notice how you respond now compared to before. Notice how quickly you recover. Notice how often you choose calm over panic. These shifts indicate that the process is working. Do not abandon consistency just because the outcome is not yet visible. Growth compounds quietly. The decisions you made today shape opportunities you cannot yet see. Trust that what is forming now will surface at the right time. There will be moments when doubt tries to re-enter, telling you that patience is wasted time. That voice is not wisdom. Wisdom understands seasons. Wisdom respects timing. Wisdom stays steady even when excitement fades. You are learning to live without constant reassurance. You no longer need every step explained in advance. You are developing discernment that allows you to move forward confidently even when the full picture is not yet clear. This maturity is essential for what lies ahead. If this message resonates with your heart, respond now. Type, "I trust the process," in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing alignment over impatience and steadiness over rush. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the deep need you carry for security. You have wanted stability for a long time. Not excess, not luxury, but the assurance that things will not suddenly fall apart. You wanted to feel safe enough to breathe, to plan, to rest your mind without bracing for impact. That desire is not wrong. It is human. But the way you learned to seek security was shaped by uncertainty, and now I am redefining it for you. For a long time, you believed security came from control. If you could predict outcomes, manage every variable, and stay prepared for the worst, you thought you would be safe. That belief kept you alert, but it also kept you tense. Control promised protection, but it delivered exhaustion. I am not removing your responsibility. I am removing the illusion that control equals safety. True security does not come from having every answer. It comes from knowing how to respond when answers unfold gradually. It does not come from stockpiling certainty. It comes from developing resilience, clarity, and trust. I am teaching you to build security internally, so circumstances no longer dictate your sense of safety. You have noticed that even when things improved externally, your mind stayed restless. You worried about how long it would last. You waited for the next disruption. That response was learned, not chosen. But learned responses can be unlearned. I am guiding you through that process now. Security is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of steadiness while facing them. You are learning how to stay grounded when uncertainty appears. You are learning how to breathe through discomfort without rushing to escape it. These skills are building something far stronger than temporary relief. Here is a practical way to apply this shift. When you feel the urge to control, pause and ask yourself, what is actually within my influence right now? Focus your energy there. Release the rest. Security grows when you invest energy wisely, rather than scattering it through worry. You are also learning that security is connected to trust in your ability to adapt. You are not fragile. You have survived change before. You have adjusted, learned, and continued. Remembering this builds confidence. When you trust your capacity to respond, uncertainty loses its grip. You may still feel uncomfortable when things are unresolved. That discomfort does not mean danger. It means growth. Growth stretches your tolerance for ambiguity. Over time, what once felt unbearable becomes manageable. That is not because life becomes easier, but because you become steadier. You are also redefining security in relationships. You no longer feel the need to earn connection through overextension. You are learning to value mutual respect over approval. This creates healthier bonds and protects your energy. Security in relationships comes from boundaries, not overgiving. Financially, you are learning that security is not only about numbers. It is about clarity, planning, and calm responses. Panic does not increase security, it undermines it. Thoughtful decisions do. You are being trained to respond wisely rather than react fearfully. You may notice moments when old fears surface unexpectedly. Do not be alarmed. Old patterns surface when new ones are forming. When that happens, respond gently. Remind yourself that you are learning a new way. Repetition strengthens it. Security also involves trusting timing. Not everything needs to resolve immediately for you to be safe. Some answers unfold gradually. Some provisions arrive step by step. This does not mean you are unprotected. It means you are being guided thoughtfully. I want you to begin noticing how often you are okay, even when things are uncertain. Let that evidence build trust. Each moment of calm and uncertainty is proof that security is forming within you. If this message resonates with you, respond intentionally. Type, "My security is steady," in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing control-based safety and embracing internal stability. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the moments when pressure suddenly rises and you feel your body react before your thoughts can catch up. You have noticed it. The tightening in your chest, the quickening of your thoughts, the urge to fix everything immediately. That response did not come from nowhere. It was learned through seasons when pressure meant danger. But hear me clearly now. I am rewiring how you respond to pressure so it no longer controls you. Pressure itself is not the enemy. Pressure reveals patterns. It exposes what you have been relying on internally. In the past, pressure triggered panic because panic felt like action. It made you feel busy, alert, involved. But panic never solved anything. It only drained your clarity. I'm teaching you a different response. One that is calmer, steadier, and far more effective. You have already begun to notice small changes. Situations that once sent you spiraling now slow you down instead. You pause. You breathe. You assess. That pause is not weakness. It is strength forming. It is the space where wisdom replaces impulse. Your nervous system learned to treat uncertainty as threat. That kept you vigilant, but it also kept you exhausted. I am retraining your system to recognize that not every challenge requires alarm. Some require patience. Some require information. Some require rest before action. When you stop treating everything as urgent, your responses become accurate instead of reactive. I want you to understand this deeply. How you respond to pressure determines whether it sharpens you or scatters you. When you react impulsively, pressure fragments your energy. When you respond intentionally, pressure refines your focus. This shift will change how you handle responsibility, finances, relationships, and decisions. Here is something practical to apply immediately. When pressure appears, name it instead of fighting it. Say to yourself, "This is pressure, not danger." That simple distinction signals safety to your body. When your body feels safe, your mind becomes clear. Clarity allows you to choose wisely. You have been judging yourself for feeling stressed, thinking you should be beyond this by now. Release that judgment. Growth does not erase sensation, it changes response. You may still feel pressure, but it no longer needs to dictate your behavior. That is progress. You are also learning that not every problem is yours to solve alone. Pressure often increases when you assume full responsibility for outcomes beyond your control. I am teaching you discernment, knowing what is yours to handle and what is not. This discernment protects your energy and preserves your peace. Apply this by asking a simple question when stress rises. What part of this is mine to address right now? Focus there. Release the rest. Security grows when effort is directed, not scattered. You may notice resistance to this new way of responding. Old habits will try to resurface, especially during unexpected challenges. That is normal. When they do, respond gently. Each calm response weakens the old pattern and strengthens the new one. Pressure will still come, but it will no longer define you. You will begin to notice that you recover faster, your thoughts settle sooner, your decisions improve. These changes are not accidental. They are the result of consistent practice. You are also learning that calm responses influence outcomes. When you are steady, others respond differently. Conversations soften. Opportunities become clearer. Problems resolve more efficiently. Peace has practical impact. Do not rush this process. Rewiring takes repetition. Each time you choose calm over panic, you are reinforcing a new default response. Over time, calm becomes automatic. Pressure loses its power to overwhelm. If this message resonates with you, engage intentionally. Type, "I respond with calm," in the comments as a declaration that pressure will no longer control your reactions. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the effort you have been carrying in your body. You have learned how to push. You have learned how to keep going even when tired. You have learned how to hold yourself together when life demanded more than felt reasonable. That strength kept you moving, but it also taught you to equate progress with strain. I am teaching you something different now, how to move without strain. Strain is what happens when effort is disconnected from alignment. You can work hard and still feel heavy. You can stay busy and still feel stuck. Strain consumes energy faster than it produces results. Movement without strain is not laziness. It is efficiency shaped by wisdom. When your actions match your values, your pace becomes sustainable. You have felt the difference before. There were moments when things flowed, when decisions felt clear, when effort felt purposeful, when time seemed to cooperate. Those moments were not accidents. They happened when your inner posture matched the direction you were moving. I am expanding that experience so it becomes normal, not rare. You are learning to notice the signals your body gives you. Tightness, fatigue, restlessness. These are not failures. They are information. They tell you when something is misaligned, when your pace is off, when your expectations are too heavy. Listening to these signals allows you to adjust before burnout sets in. I want you to stop equating exhaustion with faithfulness. Faithfulness is not proven by how depleted you are at the end of the day. Faithfulness is shown by how wisely you manage your energy. When you move with clarity, effort produces peace rather than tension. Here is something practical to apply now. When you feel resistance rising in your body, pause and check your pace. Ask yourself whether you are pushing out of fear or moving out of purpose. Fear-driven effort strains. Purpose-driven effort steadies. This question will help you recalibrate. You have also been carrying expectations that were never meant to be permanent. You took on responsibilities during difficult seasons, and they became habits. Now you are being invited to reassess them. Not everything that was necessary then is required now. Release what no longer fits. Space creates movement without strain. You may feel uneasy letting go of constant effort, because effort once made you feel secure. But security built on exhaustion is fragile. True security is supported by rhythms that include rest, reflection, and renewal. These rhythms protect clarity. You are learning that rest is not a break from purpose, it is part of it. When you rest intentionally, your decisions improve, your creativity returns, your focus sharpens, movement becomes lighter. This is not coincidence. It is design. There will be moments when old habits resurface, urging you to rush, to push, to do more than is necessary. When that happens, do not criticize yourself. Simply notice and choose again. Each choice toward balance strengthens the new pattern. You are also learning to measure progress by quality, not speed. Fast movement without direction leads to correction later. Thoughtful movement builds momentum that lasts. When you choose quality, you reduce rework and regret. Apply this perspective to your daily life. Before committing to something, check whether it aligns with your capacity. Before pushing harder, ask whether clarity is needed instead. Before saying yes, consider whether it preserves peace. These choices compound into a life that feels lighter. You may fear that moving without strain will slow you down, but strain often delays progress by creating mistakes, burnout, and resentment. Calm, aligned movement accelerates outcomes because it is focused and sustainable. I am not asking you to lower your standards. I am asking you to raise your awareness. Awareness allows you to direct effort where it matters most. It prevents wasted energy. It supports longevity. Stay with this series and watch until the end. Each part is designed to help you apply wisdom practically so your life feels steady, purposeful, and supported rather than heavy. If this message speaks to you, respond with intention. Type, "I move with wisdom," in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing alignment over strain. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the quiet fear you carry about increase. You want growth, you want provision, you want stability. Yet there is a part of you that wonders whether more responsibility will bring more pressure, more stress, more weight. That fear is understandable, because in the past increase came with overwhelm. But hear me clearly now, I am training you to hold more without losing peace. You have associated more with strain because you were given responsibility before you had rest. You were trusted before you felt ready. You were needed before you felt supported. Those experiences taught you that growth equals burden. I am rewriting that lesson. Growth does not have to cost your peace. Increase does not have to steal your joy. I do not expand capacity by overwhelming you. I expand capacity by strengthening your foundation. What you have been learning, calm thinking, steady pacing, thoughtful decisions, was not preparation for survival. It was preparation for stewardship. You are being trained to carry responsibility without panic. You may notice that as things begin to stabilize, new opportunities appear. This can feel exciting and intimidating at the same time. Excitement says, this is progress. Fear says, what if I cannot handle it? I want you to know that I do not place responsibility where clarity has not already been forming. If something is coming into your life, it is because you are being equipped to manage it wisely. Holding more requires margin. Margin is space in your schedule, space in your thoughts, space in your energy. Without margin, even small increases feel heavy. That is why I have been teaching you to simplify, to say no thoughtfully, to rest intentionally. Margin makes increase sustainable. Here is something practical to apply now. When new responsibilities appear, do not immediately accept them all. Pause. Evaluate how they fit into your life. Ask whether they align with your values and capacity. Growth that forces you to abandon peace is not growth you need right now. You are also learning that responsibility does not mean control. Control creates tension. Stewardship creates flow. When you try to manage everything personally, you exhaust yourself. When you delegate, prioritize, and pace yourself, responsibility becomes manageable. You may still feel moments of overwhelm. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are adjusting. Adjustment is part of growth. Do not judge yourself harshly during transition. Allow yourself to learn as you go. You are being trained to hold success with humility and stability. Sudden increase without grounding can distort priorities. That is why I am grounding you now. You are learning to value peace as much as progress. This balance will protect you. Apply this truth daily by checking in with yourself. Notice when tension rises. Ask what adjustment is needed: rest, clarity, boundaries, or support. Small adjustments prevent overwhelm. You are not meant to carry everything alone. Growth often brings collaboration, support, and shared responsibility. Allow others to contribute. Trust that receiving help is part of stewardship, not weakness. You may fear that slowing down will cause you to miss opportunities, but opportunities aligned with your capacity will wait for clarity. Rushed decisions often create regret. Thoughtful acceptance creates stability. You are becoming someone who can handle more because you are learning how to protect peace. Peace is not fragile. It is powerful. It allows you to think clearly under pressure. It allows you to respond wisely. It allows you to sustain effort over time. If this message resonates with you, respond intentionally. Type, "I can hold more with peace," in the comments as a declaration that you are ready to receive increase without fear. Stay with me, because this part is meant for the quiet tension you feel when abundance begins to feel possible. You have spent so long learning how to live with less, how to stretch, how to be careful, how to survive. Now that stability and provision are becoming more real, part of you wonders whether trusting abundance will change who you are. I want you to hear this clearly. Abundance does not corrupt humility. Fear does. Humility is not found in lack. It is found in alignment. A humble heart remains teachable, grateful, and grounded, whether resources are few or many. What you feared was not abundance itself, but the idea of losing your values, your sensitivity, or your dependence on wisdom. That fear came from seeing abundance mishandled, not from abundance itself. You are learning that trust in provision does not require arrogance or entitlement. It requires responsibility and awareness. When you trust abundance, you stop hoarding out of fear. When you stop hoarding, generosity becomes possible. Generosity is not measured by the amount you give. It is measured by the freedom with which you give. You have been careful because you had to be. That carefulness protected you. But carefulness can harden into scarcity if it is never updated. I am updating it now. You do not need to clutch what you receive. You can hold it with open hands. Open hands allow flow. Closed hands create tension. You are also learning that abundance requires structure. Without structure, increase creates chaos. With structure, increase creates stability. This is why I have been teaching you consistency, pacing, boundaries, and calm thinking. These are the containers that hold abundance without spilling peace. Here is something practical to apply today. When you notice fear rising around provision, fear of losing it, fear of mishandling it, pause and return to gratitude. Gratitude grounds abundance. It keeps your heart connected to purpose rather than possession. Say thank you without immediately calculating how to protect what you have. You may notice that as provision stabilizes, new desires surface. That is normal. Desire is not greed. It is direction when guided wisely. The key is discernment. Ask whether a desire aligns with your values and long-term peace. Not every desire needs to be acted on immediately. You are also learning to separate humility from self-denial. Denying yourself unnecessarily does not make you virtuous. It makes you depleted. Wisdom knows when to enjoy what is provided and when to restrain. Balance preserves joy. You may still hear an inner voice questioning whether you deserve stability. That voice comes from past struggle, not present truth. You do not earn worth through suffering. Worth is not measured by hardship. Release the belief that ease makes you less sincere. Abundance does not mean excess. It means enough with margin. Margin allows generosity, creativity, and rest. When you have margin, you are less reactive. You think clearly. You give thoughtfully. You respond calmly. This is stewardship. Apply this perspective in your daily life by practicing openness. When something good arrives, receive it without apology. When you share, do so without fear of lack. When you plan, do so without panic. These practices train your nervous system to trust stability. You are becoming someone who can enjoy provision without being controlled by it. That balance matters. It protects your heart. It keeps you aligned. It allows abundance to serve purpose rather than replace it. You may worry that trusting abundance will make you complacent, but complacency comes from boredom, not peace. Peace sharpens purpose. When you are not consumed by survival, you have more energy to contribute meaningfully. I am not removing discipline from your life. I am refining it. Discipline guided by fear tightens. Discipline guided by wisdom steadies. You are learning the difference. If this message resonates with your heart, respond intentionally. Type, "I trust abundance with wisdom" in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing fear and embracing provision responsibly. Stay with me, because this part is meant to bring your inner shifts into outward motion. You have learned to calm your mind. You have learned to release panic. You have learned to trust provision without fear. Now comes the next refinement: alignment between what you believe and how you act. Belief without aligned action creates frustration. Action without trust creates strain. I am bringing these together so your movement becomes effective, not exhausting. There were times when you believed provision would come, yet your actions were still shaped by fear. You hesitated. You overprepared. You avoided opportunities because you feared risk more than you trusted guidance. That caution was understandable, but it limited flow. Provision moves most freely when belief and action agree. You are learning that alignment does not require perfection. It requires honesty. When you believe something is possible, but act as if it is not, inner conflict forms. That conflict drains energy. When your actions begin matching your trust, energy returns. Peace increases. Direction sharpens. I am not asking you to take reckless steps. I am asking you to take honest ones. Honest steps reflect what you truly trust. They are measured, thoughtful, and intentional. They move forward without demanding certainty. They respond to clarity rather than fear. Here is something practical to apply right now. Look at one area of your life where you say you trust provision, but your actions still reflect anxiety. Maybe it is how you plan, how you decide, or how you hold back. Do not judge yourself for noticing this. Awareness is the doorway to alignment. Choose one small adjustment that brings action closer to belief. You may notice resistance when you try to act differently. Old habits will argue for familiarity. They will remind you of past losses. They will warn you to stay safe. Listen without obeying. Wisdom honors experience without being trapped by it. You are also learning that aligned action often feels calmer than expected. Fear told you that moving forward would increase stress. But when action matches trust, tension decreases. You feel lighter because inner conflict dissolves. This is how you know alignment is forming. I want you to stop waiting for confidence to appear before you act. Confidence often follows action, not precedes it. When you act thoughtfully, confidence grows naturally. Waiting for a feeling keeps you stuck. Moving with clarity sets growth in motion. You are learning to discern between caution and avoidance. Caution evaluates risk wisely. Avoidance delays progress out of fear. Ask yourself which one is guiding you. That answer will help you choose differently. Apply this to your daily life by practicing consistency. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Act within the clarity you have today. Even small steps reinforce trust. Over time, these steps compound into momentum. You may still feel moments of doubt. Doubt does not disqualify you. It invites discernment. Acknowledge it, then return to alignment. Repeated alignment quiets doubt more effectively than argument ever could. You are also learning that provision responds to movement. Not frantic movement, but intentional action. When you step forward wisely, resources, ideas, and support become visible. Standing still out of fear blocks perception. Movement sharpens it. I am not rushing you. I am guiding you. There is a pace that matches your capacity, and you are learning it now. Trust that pace. Do not compare it to others. Comparison disrupts alignment. You are building a life where trust and action work together. That harmony creates stability. Stability allows growth. Growth brings provision that does not overwhelm. If this message resonates with you, respond intentionally. Type, "My actions align with trust," in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing honest movement over fear-based hesitation. Stay with me, because this part is meant for a belief that has quietly shaped how you see yourself. For a long time, your worth became tangled with how much you endured. You measured your value by how much pressure you survived, how much you sacrificed, how much you carried without complaint. Struggle became familiar, and familiarity slowly turned into identity. I am restoring your sense of worth beyond struggle. You did not choose this identity intentionally. It formed because life required resilience from you early. You learned to be strong because you had to be. You learned to keep going because stopping was not an option. That strength carried you through, but it also taught you that ease was suspicious and rest was undeserved. I am correcting that belief now. Your worth was never proven by how much you suffered. It was never increased by deprivation or decreased by comfort. Worth is not earned through exhaustion. It is intrinsic. When you confuse struggle with value, you resist stability because it feels undeserved. That resistance has been quietly blocking peace. You may notice that when things begin to settle, discomfort arises. Calm feels unfamiliar. You wait for disruption. You brace yourself. This reaction is not because something is wrong. It is because your nervous system learned to equate struggle with normal. I am teaching you a new normal. You are allowed to be supported without guilt. You are allowed to receive without proving. You are allowed to enjoy what is provided without explaining yourself. These permissions may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort does not mean danger. It means growth. Here is something practical to apply now. When you notice yourself minimizing good things or bracing for loss, pause and remind yourself that stability is not a threat. Say it plainly. Let your body hear it. Repetition retrains belief. You have also been unconsciously equating humility with self-neglect. You thought lowering yourself kept you grounded. But humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking accurately about your place and purpose. You can honor others without diminishing yourself. You can serve without erasing your needs. You are learning that rest does not make you lazy. Enjoyment does not make you careless. Provision does not make you less faithful. These beliefs were formed under pressure. They are being replaced by truth now. You may fear that if struggle is no longer central, you will lose motivation. But motivation rooted in fear is unstable. Motivation rooted in purpose is steady. When you are not constantly fighting survival, your energy can be directed toward meaning. Apply this in your daily life by allowing moments of ease without self-criticism. When things go well, let them go well. Do not rush to justify or sabotage peace. Let peace teach you. You are also learning that worth is not something you need to defend. When you stop defending worth, you stop overworking for validation. You stop explaining yourself excessively. You stop apologizing for existing. This frees energy for creativity and contribution. You may notice old thoughts trying to return, telling you that comfort makes you complacent or undeserving. When that happens, respond gently but firmly. You do not need to argue. You simply need to choose truth again. You are becoming someone who can live well without guilt. That matters. Guilt drains joy and clouds judgment. Freedom clarifies purpose. If this message resonates with your heart, respond intentionally. Type, "My worth is not my struggle," in the comments as a declaration that you are releasing old identities and embracing truth. Stay with me a little longer because this part is meant to settle something deep inside you. For much of your life, pressure has been the engine that kept you moving. Deadlines pushed you. Fear motivated you. Consequences forced action. You learned to respond quickly because slowing down felt risky. Pressure became familiar, and familiarity made it feel necessary. But hear me clearly now. I am teaching you to live from peace, not pressure. Pressure can produce movement, but it cannot sustain life. It exhausts your body, narrows your thinking, and shortens your patience. You may achieve things under pressure, but you do not enjoy them. You survive them. I did not design you to merely survive your days. I designed you to live them with clarity and purpose. You have already noticed the shift beginning. Situations that once sent you into immediate stress now invite pause. Where you once reacted, you now reflect. Where you once rushed, you now consider. This change may feel subtle, but it is profound. It marks the moment when peace begins to lead instead of pressure. Peace does not mean the absence of responsibility. It means responsibility handled without panic. It means you can look at challenges without being consumed by them. It means you can address problems one step at a time instead of carrying them all at once. Peace expands your capacity. Pressure compresses it. You were taught that pressure equals productivity. That belief kept you busy but restless. Productivity driven by pressure often produces quick results followed by burnout. Productivity guided by peace produces steady results that last. I am guiding you into the second kind. You may still feel moments where pressure tries to return, especially when something unexpected appears. Old habits surface quickly under stress. When that happens, do not assume you are failing. Simply recognize that a new way of living is replacing an old one. Replacement takes repetition. Here is something practical to apply now. When you feel pressure rising, ask yourself this question: what is the next right step, not every step? Pressure demands that you solve everything at once. Peace focuses on what is required now. This question will slow your thoughts and clarify your action. You are also learning that peace improves discernment. When you are calm, you hear nuance. You notice timing. You recognize when to act and when to wait. Pressure drowns out these signals. Peace amplifies them. You may worry that without pressure, you will lose momentum. But momentum driven by peace is more reliable than momentum driven by fear. Fear-based momentum spikes and crashes. Peace-based momentum moves steadily forward. Apply this understanding in your daily life by creating space before responding. Do not answer immediately if clarity is not present. Do not commit quickly if alignment is unclear. Giving yourself time is not avoidance, it is wisdom. You are learning to trust that calm responses are effective responses. You do not need intensity to be impactful. You do not need urgency to be responsible. You need clarity. Clarity comes from peace. You may notice that as pressure decreases, emotions surface that were previously suppressed. That is normal. Pressure numbed you. Peace allows feeling. Let emotions pass through without judgment. They do not control you. They inform you. You are also discovering that peace changes how others respond to you. Conversations soften. Conflicts de-escalate. Decisions become collaborative instead of combative. Peace has relational impact. Let go of the belief that pressure is proof of importance. Your worth is not measured by how stressed you are. Your contribution is not validated by exhaustion. You matter even when you are calm. This shift may feel unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. It means new. And new ways require patience with yourself. Each time you choose peace, you strengthen it. Over time, it becomes your default. If this message speaks to your heart, respond intentionally. Type, "I choose peace over pressure," in the comments as a declaration that you are allowing calm to lead your life. Stay with me for these final moments, because what I am speaking now gathers everything you have been learning and seals it into how you live. You did not arrive here by accident, and you did not walk through these parts in vain. Every shift you felt, every moment of recognition, every quiet change in how you think and respond has been forming something steady within you. You are ready to walk forward without fear. Fear once served as your motivator. It kept you alert, cautious, and moving, but it also kept you tense, reactive, and uncertain even when provision was present. Over time, fear trained you to expect loss instead of guidance. That training is ending now, not because challenges will disappear, but because fear no longer needs to lead you through them. You have learned how to pause instead of panic. You have learned how to think clearly under pressure. You have learned how to trust provision without guilt and receive stability without bracing for collapse. These are not small lessons. They are foundational. They allow you to live with steadiness rather than survival. You are no longer the person you were when this journey began. You respond differently now. You recover faster. You question fear instead of obeying it. You choose alignment over urgency. These changes may feel subtle, but they are profound. They mark a shift from reacting to life to participating in it intentionally. Walking forward without fear does not mean you never feel uncertainty. It means uncertainty no longer controls your direction. You can acknowledge doubt without surrendering to it. You can face the unknown with curiosity instead of dread. This posture opens the way for wisdom to guide you. You are also learning that trust is not blind. It is informed by experience. You have seen provision arrive in unexpected ways. You have adapted to change before. You have learned from mistakes and continued forward. Trust grows when you remember this evidence, rather than letting fear erase it. Here is something practical I want you to carry with you beyond this message. When fear appears, do not fight it aggressively. Simply do not follow it. Acknowledge it, then ask yourself what alignment looks like in that moment. Alignment may mean action, rest, planning, or waiting. Let clarity lead, not fear. You are stepping into a season where your choices will feel more intentional and less reactive. This will create space. Space in your mind, space in your schedule, space in your energy. That space is not emptiness. It is capacity. Capacity allows growth without overwhelm. You may notice that peace now feels more natural than tension. That is not complacency. That is maturity. Mature strength does not shout, it steadies. Mature trust does not rush, it aligns. This maturity will support you in every area of your life. You are also learning that walking forward does not require you to see the entire path. It requires you to take the next clear step. Each step reveals the next. Clarity unfolds through movement, guided by calm awareness. There will still be moments when old patterns try to return. Pressure may knock. Doubt may whisper. When that happens, remember what you have learned. You do not need to start over. You simply choose again. Growth is reinforced through repetition, not perfection. You are becoming someone who can live well, manage responsibility wisely, and receive provision without fear. That balance matters. It protects your peace and preserves your purpose. It allows you to contribute meaningfully without losing yourself. Carry this understanding into your daily life. Let peace inform your decisions. Let clarity guide your actions. Let trust shape your expectations. These practices will continue to fund your life, not only financially, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. If these words have resonated with you and you feel agreement in your spirit, respond now. Type "I walk forward in trust" in the comments as a declaration that fear no longer leads your life. And if this series has brought you clarity, calm, or strength, like this message, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs reassurance and direction. If you feel supported and uplifted by these words, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so more lives can be guided into peace, wisdom, and stability. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone, my child. You are stepping forward with understanding, alignment, and trust. What you have learned will walk with you, and it will continue to sustain you wherever you go.